carter right here on your frames. Last video we cleaned these bad boys up. They feel pretty good right now. They might need a little bit, but we're gonna move on. So the next thing that the pamphlet calls for here is to put on our outside trim pieces, and those are really skinny, and they're the full length of the frame, and they have a small detail of an 1/8 inch round over on both sides, and an 1/8 and an 1/8 is a quarter, and that's how thick our pieces are going to be. So let's look. It calls for it's called letter C, outside trim piece, and we're going to take a look at our material list back here. And letter C, outside trim pieces, calls for a quantity of 2. They are 1/4 of an inch thick. They are 1 3/16 of an inch tall, and they are 27 5/8 of an inch long. So we're at least going to cut some blanks at 28 inches long to start with. I'm thinking we're actually going to go 29 in case we get a little bit of a whip on those when we route them, because we're going to use a feather board. So what we're going to do, Carter, is we're going to go over the wood pile over here, and we're going to grab some red oak, and we're going to look for some skinny pieces about 29 inches long, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut those. So we'll cut it. So, we found a piece of red oak over there, pretty good one. It's got a little split right here, but I think 27 5/8 or 29 inches is going to be somewhere right around here. So a great piece here to use. And remember that the 29 inches is going to be about almost 1.5 inches too long. So why don't you come on over here, and what did I say we were going to make it? 29? 9. All right. So we want which piece, the left or the right? The left. All right, so we want the left, so we're going to keep the line to what side of the blade? Left side. Correct. We want the piece on the left, we keep it to the left of the blade. So take it to the back. Let's go ahead and pull that down. Let's see how close we are. We're doing a nice slow cut so it's nice and clean. That looks pretty darn good, nice and slow.
I can go straight down.
Yes, you can. All right, so let's go ahead and bring that bad boy over to the joiner right here. And what do we notice about this piece in relationship to the joiner? Is it a big piece?
No,
it's long, but it's pretty short, right? So when we go and joint something like this down through our joiner, we need to be really careful. Generally speaking, we don't really like to join anything that's smaller than the bottom, but unfortunately, from time to time, we actually do need to do stuff like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a push stick, absolutely. So we got this homemade one right here, and remember your thumb goes like this. This will be right on the back. All right, and to push this through so that our hands don't fall down, we're going to find another push stick. And let's see if this one here should be mighty fine. Okay. This one we're actually I'm just going to have to squeeze off of this card real quick. That way it's a little bit easier for you. Alright, and when you run this down through here, this will be just like this, okay, bud? Alright, beauty right there. Here you go. Let's make sure it's out of the line here. Alright, oh, let me check one other. Alright, we're going to voice over a small section here because somebody was cursing in the background. You ready to go ahead? Let me move this so we can actually see it. nice and beautiful, go ahead and hit the stop button real quick. So, which side was down? It was this side, right? So we're just going to put a real quick X on that because both of these were probably already true, but we weren't 100% sure, so we're going to keep it right. So we'll hold that. Excuse me. And next thing we're going to do here, Carter, is we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to the table saw. We're going to get to our finished ripping width, and we'll show you what to do. Alrighty here, Carter. So, looks like we got a piece right here. Let's figure out what our ripping width was. I thought it was 1 3/16. Outside trim, 1/4 by 1 3/16 by 27 5/8. So what do we need to set this width to?
1 3/16.
It is 1 3/16. So let's go ahead and see if we can find that on your gauge right there. So you see how that's got really small lines right there?
Yeah.
Those are actually 30 seconds, which most rulers don't have. So we're gonna, so we're gonna go between the 1/8 and the 1/4. Next thing is it. And then for good measure, we're gonna take a look over here. A smidge more. That's starting to get off a little bit, huh?
But I had it.
You did, but it's not measuring 100%. I'll have to reset this here after the video. All right, so we've got it set up to 1 3/16. Oh boy, we must have been ripping something tiny tin a little bit ago. Bring this bad boy here on up, and we are going to go ahead and we're going to run this bad boy down through here. Do you want a featherboard, or you want to do it by holding it?
Featherboard.
You want a featherboard? Yeah. All right. So we remember we only use the push stick once it gets to the table, though, right? Let me turn the desk clock on.
Alright.
And we make sure that we have the X towards our fence because we know that that was our jointed side. Let's go ahead and hold this over here with your hand. Put the push stick up here so we can grab it later. All right. All right. So, got this bad boy here ripped down to 1 3/16. So, we cut it down to 29 to begin with, and it calls for 27 5/8, but we're going to wait on that, okay? It calls for 1 3/16. We just did that. Now it calls for 1/4. Which way do you think it's going to be for the 1/4? It is that way, yes. So let's go ahead and do this. Why don't you go grab me a nice big Phillips head screwdriver, okay? Alright. So I just measured this here to 1/4 of an inch, and we're going to go ahead and just got to double check this thing. I don't know why it's off by a smidge in here, but it happens from time to time. So it's like one of those OCD things that you gotta fix while it's fresh on your mind, because then I'll forget. You know what I'm saying? All right. So we are in there like swimwear. And the other thing we're going to check is we got to bring this up a little bit. Now, does this look like a pretty fun cut to make? What do you think? No. Yeah, it's a really crappy cut right here to make. Not my favorite at all. I'll demonstrate for you here and show you how we do it. So, this right here got our featherboard set up. And we're going to have to run the Slim Jim down through here because it's a tiny Tim take too. See how that's going to be really, really tight? Let's go ahead and take this out. It doesn't matter because we are going to have to do this side here, and then when it comes down, I'm going to show you we're going to rip this side here against the fence. Let me demonstrate that right now. I don't know if you saw it, Carter, but as we started to run it through, it started walking up. A smidge I made, so I had to stop, and I let it come back down. Unfortunately, that does happen from time to time. So this side right here is the side that we just ripped through, and I'll be honest with you, this is really, really, really pretty side. However, we're going to do it the way that I would normally recommend. And this side over here, we're going to go ahead and run this side through. Now, are we going to have to readjust that weatherboard once more? Yeah, better believe it, right? We're going to go ahead and set this bad boy here up. You want to adjust this one? Okay, so we're going to go nice and slow. And I'm actually going to give you a little bit of a helping hand as we run it through, okay? So we're going to go nice and gentle when we run it down through it. Move it out. All right. Slow and steady, leave that right. Beautiful. All the way, all the way, all the way, all the way, all the way. All right. Beautiful. And just to confirm, we're going to measure these bad boys here. They sure look like they are 1/4 of an inch. Oh yes, they are beautiful. I'll tell you what, Carter. These are magnificent looking pieces right here. The best part about these pieces is they are not free, and these are going to be both exposed pieces of trim, so we're going to see the entire outside of them, and we're going to see the entire top route is going to be a round over, okay? So we've got our 2 side trim pieces. In the next video that we make, what we're going to do is we're going to go over how to route these on the saw and cut them the final end. Was it pretty easy to do? It was, but you kind of had to keep your head in the game a little bit, right? A little bit of setting up here and there. All right, nice job, buddy.